say that well. I know. I welcome everybody to our service. You're a member of the Church of the Nazarene, Monongahela Church of the Nazarene. Don't forget to vote. Yes. And it'll be about 10 to 20 minutes or so after the morning service that you can still vote. But you have to be a member and 15 years of age or older. I can't vote.
Why not?
Because I'm only 14. I'm too young. It's good to see everybody this morning. We're here to celebrate a lot of things this morning. Please, I know the reports are back where you vote. We are asking that everybody take one. If you haven't gotten one, it's a year-end report. There's a lot of good things in there. So if you haven't received, we haven't given them out to only those families that vote. We are asking one per family, because if you take two, then we waste paper. So one per family. You don't have to be a member of the church in order to take one. A lot of work went into those reports, and there's a lot of good things. I've read through them. There are a lot of good things in those reports. So just kind of take them home, take about 5 or 10 minutes to read through them. If you want to analyze the budget report and all that, good luck. And there's a lot of good information. Also, if you have any questions about some of those reports, do give me a call and we can discuss them. So welcome to our service, and we're going to have a great time praising and celebrating Jesus this morning.
Hey, do you take a...
Hey! Hay's for horses, I eat straw. I have no idea what that means, but that's what the horse said.
I had a question about this voting. Do you take a ballot up to the nursing home?
No. There are no provisions in the manual. We follow our voting process by, this is a very good question, very good question. The hay was a little off, but this is a very good question. Pastor Edward. The Church of the Manual does not provide us to allow absentee ballots. So all the voting has to be in the fellowship hall. You can't even take the ballot out of the fellowship hall. It has to be right then and there. That is a manual procedure, not a Monongahela Church of the Nazarene procedure. Okay? Any other questions? Okay, just don't ask me questions about voting in the middle of my sermon. That's all I'm asking.
Only Gavin's allowed to interrupt during the sermon.
No.
Thank you.
Which I want to just say this, that was not staged, that was Gavin being Gavin. And there is nothing greater than, what is so great about that, understand this, what is so great about what Gavin did last Sunday, and I think everybody was here last Sunday. If you weren't here last Sunday, I said something about being sad or something, and he went, oh, real loud. And what was great about that is he participated in our worship service, and we have children participating in, babies participating in our worship service. So that was,
That's all he does is sing.
yes, that was a sign of a church being healthy when you're interrupted or a perfect noise is made by a child during the service.
Let's go ahead and start off with prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, I want to thank you for this day. I want to thank you that we all can come here today and think about what happened last week with Easter, and then what's to come now that Easter's over, now that we're thinking about where we're supposed to go from there, thinking about who's here today and who's to come and what's to come. I want you to watch over this sermon that Pastor Raymond gives to us today. Watch over everyone today as we continue to think about you today. In your name we pray. Amen. I did. Phone Bibles are the best. I'm sorry. During the night, the mystery was revealed to Daniel in a vision. Then Daniel praised the God of heaven and said, "Praise be to the name of God forever and ever. Wisdom and power are his. He changes times and seasons. He deposes kings and raises up others. He gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to the discerning. He reveals deep and hidden things. He knows what lies in the darkness, and light dwells within him. I thank and praise you, God of my ancestors. You have given me wisdom and power. You have made known to me what we asked of you. You have made known to us the dream of the king.
Stand up. And the slide that tells you to stand up, we don't use anymore because it was too hard for Raymond to click back and forth.
And that once was crowned with thorns is crowned with glory now. The Savior now to wash our feet. Now at his feet we bow. The one who bore our sin and shame, now robed in majesty, the radiance of perfect love now shines for all to see. Your name is victory. All praise will rise to Christ our King. Your name is victory. All praise will rise to Christ our King. The fear that held us now gives way to him who is our peace. His final breath upon the cross is now alive in me. Your name is victory. All praise will rise to Christ our King. Your name is victory. All praise will rise to Christ our King. By your Spirit I will rise from the ashes of defeat. The resurrected King is resurrecting me. In your name I come alive to declare your victory. The resurrected King is resurrecting me. By your Spirit I will rise from the ashes of defeat. The resurrected King is resurrecting me. In your name I come alive to declare your victory. The resurrected King is resurrecting me. By your Spirit I will rise from the ashes of defeat. The resurrected King is resurrecting me. In your name I come alive to declare your victory. The resurrected King is resurrecting me. Such were soldiers washed in men.
was waiting to see if you guys followed directions. Never paying attention. So it says you may be seated. You guys said that. That's really great. Yeah, everybody got. We could give out. We could give out stickers to everybody this morning. There's these stickers called "I Love My Pastor" stickers. You know when you vote, they always give you a sticker and says that I voted today. Yeah. So I found these stickers in a drawer. I was looking for some pens and pencils, and I said, "Hey, everybody's going to get a sticker today." And people are complaining they don't stick because they have been here longer than I have. I've been here 18 years, and so those stickers were purchased probably in the 1980s, and that's why they don't stick. I was just curious. Anybody want to tell us something amazing that happened to you this week? What amazing thing did God do for you this week, or do in your life this week? Everything. Gavin speaks again.
He likes to answer direct questions.
That was Gavin. I know Baby Talk. That was Gavin who say, "Thank God for my mommy, my dad, not so much."
Don't want to get her on the stand.
What amazing thing has God done in your life? Laura.
Last Wednesday, I took my brother down to Falk Clinic, and he's had a hernia, a real bad one, for 3 years. They operated on it 3 times. Now we found another surgeon, and he's going to fix it. Finally, they're going to do a 4th operation. It's going to take a long time. It's a highly dangerous operation, but I mean, he has no quality of life, so I'm just excited that he'd be able to go to the stores and live life again.
Cool. We've been praying for him. He's been on our prayer list for a while. Hasn't he, right? What's his name?
Brian.
Brian. Michael.
I was glad I was able to go to therapy.
All right. Help you out. Cheryl.
I found out my daughter Kimberly totaled her car, but she's fine.
Okay. George.
Still happy about this, Gavin.
Gavin has blessed our church also.
Good one, God, to say the least.
Did you have something, my beautiful, lovely, wonderful wife?
I had a 6-year-old go in for open heart surgery on Friday. She had to get a hole in her heart, big 2 holes in her heart and a valve repair done. And she's probably going home today. Wow.
6-year-old. Yes. My wife had the privilege of FaceTiming the parents right before the surgery. The little girl chickened out, but they were able to talk and encourage the family through all this. It's excellent.
I found out my dad won't lose his toe. So my dad has diabetes, and he's not smart and doesn't take his medicine, and so the diabetes was eating at his toe, and it got so bad he might have lost it. But he's gotten the treatment they've been doing. It's going well, so he's not going to lose his toe. Thought that was pretty awesome this week.
Charlie.
Lord, it's been healing me each and every day. I thank you.
Yes. It's good that Charlie is in church. He didn't think he was going to be in church this early, but he handles as much as he can. Esther.
I was blessed to have my sister Ruth visit with me for 3 days this week.
Oh, that had to be a wonderful blessing.
Yep.
Oh my, yeah. A lot of you may not know who Ruth is. Ruth used to attend the church probably 15 years ago or so. She moved down to
She's in North Carolina.
North Carolina. And she is a wonderful woman. You can tell that Esther trained her very well. And she used to play the organ for us. And she was the last organ player of the church. But that's a double blessing for her.
Actually, I trained her.
Yeah. Like I said, we can tell that Esther's taking what Danny is trying to get through, which I did not connect, is Danny and Esther are brother and sister. That makes Ruth, Danny, and Esther all brothers and sisters. So sometimes you forget, there's a McCarty, Wineland, so. Yes.
I'm just so grateful to God that He can bless us through the incredible abilities of doctors and surgeons. I'm telling you, my dad was healed, and you guys are going to love it. The surgeon who operated on my mother, my dad, my other brother is now operating on my youngest brother for having his gallbladder taken out next week. So
when he's going to operate on you? Wait, is he a brain surgeon?
Right. But I am so blessed for the gifts and talents and abilities. It's astounding what God can do.
He was just asking for his own references if he was a brain surgeon.
What other church can you go to and be heckled by your pastor? Yes. Debbie's father was literally at the brink of death. And they pretty much called her and her mother in and saying he basically taken a turn for the worse and everything. And they weren't sure. And he rebounded. We prayed, and I'm not sure if Debbie, but somebody got anointed in his behalf. We've been praying for him, and he rebounded miraculously. He rebounded, and God healed him through the care of the doctors, the proper care of the doctors. Not to brag about my wife, but this little girl has a heart murmur, and Tanya was the one who heard it. When she had come in for a checkup, and she's told them that they need to go and get this looked at. So yes, that is, God works through the medical field quite a bit. Sometimes we don't think about it because we have to pay those stupid insurance costs and premiums and everything that they do. Boy, this was a great time. Anybody else?
Yeah, my brother was in a hospital, not that one though. My youngest brother was in a hospital. He's 46 with a real bad infection and congestive heart failure. And they took 5 liters of fluid out of his stomach from the congestive heart failure, and he's doing good now.
Good.
And they kept him 10 days with no insurance. You know that's bad.
Timothy is going to come and read John 20, verses 24 to 29. And we're going to talk with, after this round of praising God and telling about what things he has done, we're going to talk about doubt.
Raymond doubts himself all the time.
I doubt it.
Now Thomas, one of the 12, was not with the disciples when Jesus came. So the other disciples told him, "We have seen the Lord." But he said to them, "Unless I see the nail marks in his hands, and put my finger where the nails were, and put my hands into his side, I will not believe." A week later, his disciples were in the house again, and Thomas was with them. Though the door was locked, Jesus came and stood among them and said, "Peace be with you." Then he said, "Thomas, put your finger here. See my hands? Reach out your hand and put it in my side. Stop doubting and believe." Thomas said to him, "My Lord and my God." Then Jesus told him, "Because you have seen me, you have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen, yet have believed."
Is that where the phrase doubting Thomas came from?
We'll learn about that today. Last week we had this wonderful celebration of Jesus' resurrection, and people all over the world, attended church. It was probably the one Sunday of the year in which more people attended church than any other Sunday. Because people want to come in and recognize that Jesus rose from the grave, that he is risen. But unfortunately, I'm not so sure that the world believes it. And I think a lot of us ask the question, did Jesus really rise from the dead? And it's a valid question, I think. And I think we even struggle with that question in our lives. And even as young teenagers and young adults, we wonder about this holiday and we wonder how it affects our lives. Throughout history, in an attempt to understand the resurrection of Jesus, some people have come up with some theories because it's very difficult for anybody to believe. It's very difficult for a lot of people to believe that Jesus was dead and he came back to life again. That there was no life in Jesus, that if he was alive today, he would be pronounced brain dead, and there was no way for him to come back to life. This wasn't a near-death experience, but this is an experience in which Jesus' body stopped existing. And yet, on Sunday, he came back from the dead. There are some theories that have popped up over the years trying to explain how this could occur. One of the theories, one of the more common theories, and Pilate was concerned about this, is the stolen body theory, that Jesus didn't really rise from the dead. His body was stolen, and that's why the grave was empty. And Pilate kind of made sure that wasn't going to happen, because that's why he posted guards. Some people believe that they kind of got the wrong grave, and they went to the wrong grave, rolled the stone away, and there was nothing in the grave because they went to the wrong place. It's kind of like a stolen body, that the body was missing. My favorite theory that has come up is called the swoon theory. Okay? The swoon theory is Jesus really wasn't dead when they pulled him off the cross because they never broke his legs. He got better in the tomb and walked out of the tomb. I don't know if you've ever, he wasn't dead, he was mostly dead. For those who have for those who have watched The Princess Bride, the guy wasn't dead, he was just mostly dead. And Jesus then got better over about a 24-hour period and walked out. There was another belief that someone came up with, and it's the twin theory. That Jesus really had a twin. One twin went to the cross and died, and the other twin then came out of hiding and began to walk the earth after the other twin died. I don't know why they believe that one, but they do. I mean, I would be very upset. You know, I don't know how, if I had a twin and we decided to come up with that theory, I'm like, sorry, you win, you go to the cross. I'm going to be the one that comes back from the grave, okay? There's one theory that is very troubling, and I think it's this theory that many of us kind of hang on to, because we kind of question, and the world kind of hangs on to it. It's called the spiritual resurrection. That Jesus really didn't raise from the dead physically. God kind of removed him from the dead physically. But Jesus did raise from the dead spiritually. And when Mary went and grabbed him at his feet and tried to hug him, and he says, "Don't touch me, it's not yet my time," that meant that there was really no body there. He didn't want Mary to find out that he was only spiritually alive, but his body really was hidden someplace else. This theory is very troubling because sometimes we believe in this theory without even knowing about it. And I think a lot of the world believes this theory. They want to know if the resurrection of Christ is for real. And I know that people believe that the resurrection happened, But the idea or the concept of the resurrection can be called into doubt. And sometimes when we ask this question, did it really occur in those dark moments of life, we have guilt. You see, I'm one of those people who believe that this is a valid question. Did Jesus rise from the dead? Did this event really happen? Jesus, I wanted to share, this is the story that we're talking about today that Timothy read. He just informed me that it was his favorite, it's one of his favorite stories in the Bible after Jesus' resurrection. And it's kind of an intriguing story for me. This story is about Jesus appearing to his followers. He's appearing to different people throughout. He is appearing to different people after his resurrection to kind of help his followers to understand what occurred. Now, realize that at least according to the Bible, Jesus doesn't appear to anybody else except for the followers that were close, that did ministry with him, that did life together with him. He didn't appear to the masses. He only appeared to about 50 or 60 people. And they were the ones who went out and then began to tell other people. Jesus appears to his followers, and I find it interesting that the reaction, the different reactions of the different followers, and how interested they became when they began to hear the buzz that Jesus was alive. They were excited because their friend was no longer dead. Jesus did something impossible. He died and came back to life, and they were so excited about it. And this event has now been transferred throughout the world for many, many thousands of years. It's kind of interesting that there was actually a progression of people finding out that Jesus had risen. We think that Mary Magdalene was the first person to ever discover that the grave was empty. Then we see Mary Magdalene goes to Peter and John, and Peter and John race off to the grave. In other Gospels, after this event occurred, there was another event that was happening pretty much the same time with Mary Magdalene and John and Peter. Mary, the other Mary, the other Mary, the Mary of the other Mary. There's like too many Marys. There's the other Mary and Mary, mother of James. Salome and Joanna, there is a group of ladies. This group of ladies, of four, go to the tomb, and they independently discover that the tomb is empty. So we have Mary Magdalene going and telling John and Peter. They race off to the tomb, see what's going on. While that's happening, Mary, and Salome and Joanna all come in, and they're all upset. And there's three actually different occurrences of Jesus revealing themselves to the people. And then Jesus began to reveal himself to other people, to the groups. And as they were gathering together, Jesus would appear periodically to many of his believers. And he was doing this throughout this whole week. So for a whole week, the buzz around Monongahela is Jesus has risen. And he has come to our homes, come to our small groups. He has met with us individually. And Jesus, we have seen him. We acknowledge that he has risen from the dead. And it seems like everybody saw him except for one guy. Thomas. They call him Didymus. Means twin. He had another brother who looked just like him. That's what a twin is. And the disciples come up to Thomas, and they say to Thomas, "We have seen the Lord." Thomas replies, unless I see the nail marks in his hands and put my finger where the nails were and put my hand into his side, I will not believe. And Thomas is saying, I gotta see it to believe it. And I'm not sure if Thomas was one of those people who were the brunt of the joke all the time. He was the one that they were always messing with. And, you know, it's like my kids. My kids never know. It's like Timothy. He's only been here for 4 months. And he came over to my house on Wednesday. And he says, where's Raymond? And I said, he's at science camp. Where's Raymond? He's at science camp. No, really, where's Raymond? I can never tell when you're telling the truth or lying to me. My kids can't either. They don't know when I'm lying or telling the truth. And I was just kind of wondering if maybe Thomas was given a hard time, and he was the one that was gullible, that believed everything. And they would tell him, the one person when I was growing up, somebody told me that when you go and buy beef, you have to decide between, there's something called the downside of the cow. You always want the downside of the cow. You know why? Because cows, when they live on hills, okay, their feet grow differently, and so the downside, you have more meat. I believed them. These kids said, what? Oh, when the cows come into the barn, quiet. I was like 10 years old. Well, they come into the barn, they kind of hop like this. It made sense to me. Thomas may have been one of those. And whatever happened, Thomas got the nickname of being Doubting Thomas. He was the doubter. And nowadays, it was kind of funny. Last night, before I go to bed, I see a commercial, and the lady is sitting there. I don't even know what brand they were talking about. This lady sitting there and says, "Yeah, I'm a Doubting Thomas," and I'm like, "Wow." And I think I am going to correct a historical error. I don't think Thomas was a doubter. He may have been skeptical. He was cautious. He had the wait and see thing. But I don't think Thomas is any different than the rest of us. But for 2,000 years, somebody came along many, many decades ago, many, many centuries ago, and said, Doubting Thomas. And that has been a name that stuck with him. The funny thing about Thomas is, this morning we were talking about some of the weaknesses of Peter. And when we talk about Peter, what do you think about Peter? Peter is the rock. Upon this rock I will build my church. When you use the word Thomas, what do you think about? Doubter. Now here's the thing. Peter was a wimpy, weak, he wasn't a traitor, but he was a wimpy, weak, timid. The opposite of, what's the word opposite of courageous? Cowardly. Thank you. I used the word timid. He was cowardly. He was one of the most cowardly disciples. And we talked about how, he had every opportunity to confess Jesus being his friend. And even after Jesus looked at him and said, and the rooster crowed, and Jesus looked at him, he didn't say, "Oh, I was wrong." What does he do? He turns around and runs out of the courtyard and weeps. He was a coward. But what do we think of Peter? The denial? The rock. What do we think of Thomas? The man who went and took the gospel to the nation of India? The doubter. So why do we think that Peter is a doubter? Because Peter had the concept of wait and see. I need to put my finger in his hands and in his side to make sure. It wasn't even shown to me. I want to poke on his side to make sure that that's Jesus. So what's the difference from him and the other ones? Just before this, Peter and John get word from Mary Magdalene that Jesus is risen. The grave is empty. They go running off together. And Peter runs in. They hear that Jesus has risen from the grave. They go tearing out towards the tomb. They stop. They don't know what's going on. Peter, who is lagging behind John, runs into the tomb, and when his eyes get used to the light, he sees and believes. John 28 says, not Peter, but John says, John stumbles into the tomb, and John says in John 28, he saw and believed. Thomas has a wait-and-see attitude. John didn't believe when Mary Magdalene told him. What did he have to do? He ran off to the grave because he had to see it for himself. Even Mary Magdalene, when she goes to the grave and she sees the rock rolled away and she walks in and he's gone, and she starts crying bitterly. And someone comes up to her and asks her, "Why are you crying?" And she said, "Sir, if you have carried him away, tell me where you have put him and I will get him." It wasn't until she turned around. She was hearing the voice of Jesus and she was all upset. And it wasn't until she turns and she sees Jesus that she realizes that he rose from the dead. So Mary Magdalene sees the empty tomb. Mary Magdalene hears the voice of Jesus, but Mary Magdalene doesn't believe until she sees Jesus. Yes?
I had a question. Didn't Jesus tell them he was going to raise from the dead, so they doubted him too?
Yes. They doubted what Jesus told him that was going to happen. And all these believers who had been taught this for years were now experiencing what they were taught. And so far we now know 3 of them, Peter, John, and Mary Magdalene, had to see Jesus before they believed that he was risen. Do you think those were the only 3? And later on in John chapter 20, it was a Sunday night. There was a whole bunch of people around. They heard that Jesus had risen. So what do? They all of his followers gathered to one place to begin to discuss it. They're all happy during the day. Someone says, "Hey, we probably want to keep this quiet for a while." So they all meet together on a Sunday night to discuss what was happening, and they lock the door. So Jesus comes in, okay, the scripture says, Jesus comes in, and the door is locked, and he walks through the door, and he says to them all, "Peace be with you." Get this. And then he does something strange. So he locked door, walks through the door, "Peace be with you." And then he reaches out and he shows them his hands. And John 20:20 says, the disciples were overjoyed when they saw him. They were not overjoyed until they saw Jesus' hands. So, we have Peter and John. We don't call them doubting Peter and doubting John. We have Mary Magdalene, who couldn't even recognize the voice of Jesus and didn't believe until she turned around. We don't have doubting Mary. Then you'd be confused if you call her doubting Mary, because you wouldn't know which one you was doubting. And then he's at the room enters a locked door, tells them, peace be with you. They're all just milling around. They're not even concerned that this man walked through the wall. And when they reached out and showed him his hands, that's when they believed, and they were overjoyed. So why does Thomas get called the doubter when everyone at one time or another doubted whether Jesus rose from the dead or not? And it's the same question that after the resurrection and the celebration, and we're sitting at home in the mess of life, and we ask ourselves, is that true? Well, there's reasons why we doubt. There's reasons why we all doubt. And I can't understand why somebody in the history of Christianity decided that Thomas was a bigger doubter than anybody, because Thomas was the one who was just being like us. He wanted to wait and see until something happens. Why? Because it's who we are. We are all doubters. We all have the wait and see attitude. Somebody comes up to you and says, I'm going to give you $2,000 next week. What's your first thought?
All right, I'll wait until you see.
I'll wait till it happens.
Because knowing you, you don't pay me. So, okay, I'll see.
Right. Kid tells you they're going to go out and cut the grass for you. What do you say? I'll believe it when I see it. It's who we are. We're natural doubters. We're cautious. Ever get that email from the person over there in Africa or in India or something? They're king so-and-so, and they got $2 million for you, and all you have to do is write them back, and they'll send you the account number so for you to retrieve it. Why don't you answer it? Because you doubt that's true. It's who we are. We're cautious. We wait until it happens. We'll see it when we believe. We'll believe it when we see it. You have to prove yourself to me. A lot of people in our lives, we doubt them no matter what they say because they've lied to us so much. We've been lied to so much. When a politician comes up to you and says, your life will be better if you elect me, what do you say?
They're lying.
I doubt it. A spouse of an alcoholic, I'm going to stop drinking. I'm going to stop cheating. A child, yeah, Mom, I'm going to obey you from now on until I get caught disobeying you the next time. I doubt it. We have been lied to so many times. We have been lied to by people. You know, as a pastor, I talk to people, hey, you should come to church. Yeah, okay, Pastor, I'll be in church. Do you know how many people have lied to me and have not confessed their sin over the last 18 years?
How many?
More than I can remember. One of the reasons why we doubt so much is we don't want to be hurt. It's a protective thing. It's who we are. We've been lied to so much that we have protected ourselves. So when Jesus says, I have risen from the dead physically, we're like, yeah, okay, my Sunday school teacher when I was 6 years old told me the same thing. I'll wait till I see it. I'll believe it when I see it. One of the reasons why is we have not truly in our lives experienced the resurrection of Jesus. We believe that he's a spiritual resurrection where he is up in heaven with God, and it's not a physical resurrection where he is interacting with us in our lives. We keep Jesus at a distance. Jesus has to prove himself to me first. We are like Thomas, where we have to put our fingers in his hands and reach out and touch his side. And it's not until we understand the resurrection that we can learn to put aside our doubts. And when the resurrection, and we experience this resurrection, then when we ask those questions and those doubts come into our mind as to whether this was a real resurrection of Jesus or not, then when those doubts come into our minds, we know how to deal with them. So how do we experience a real resurrection? Because look, there's nothing wrong with doubting. Okay? I know all the old-time preachers are going to yell at me because, our whole life we've been told, don't doubt, have faith. Don't doubt, have faith. It's just like telling everybody, don't worry, okay, trust God. Yeah, right. That's like telling me not to breathe. My child has a problem, guess what's going to happen? I'm going to worry. When I'm in a mess of life and nothing seems to be working out, I'm going to have those thoughts. Hang on, we'll answer your question in just a second. Because doubt is a part of who we are. And so I'm not here this morning to tell you that when you have a doubt about Jesus or a doubt about God or his existence or whether something happened, I'm not here going to tell you you're going to go to hell for that. Or you know how you get over your doubts? Have faith. See, I doubt something happened. I'm supposed to have faith. But my lack of faith is the reason why I'm doubting. So I don't know how to have faith to overcome my doubt. So your comment to me just makes me doubt even more. See, I don't know, some of you are like, wow, are we actually talking about this morning? Pastor Raymond's giving me the right to doubt? Yeah. Why? Because we need to understand the resurrection in order for us to get over our doubts. Basically, we have to learn to experience the resurrection. And the reason why we don't get past our doubts is because we don't experience the resurrection by facing our doubts, by acknowledging that we have them, by saying, hey, I wonder if this is wrong. And the reason why we're afraid to wonder and to ask questions and to sort of even test the whole story is because we've been told that if we die in our doubt, we're going to hell, but there's no scripture that says that. Because our doubts are an action of us trying to understand who Jesus is and what the resurrection is in our lives. And so when a person is going through major pain and sorrow and suffering, and they cry out to God and they say, I don't know why God is God even there? I can't even feel him. Those are true feelings. And what we have done in our lives is tell them, you can't believe them. But what we should be telling them is to face their doubts. Where is it coming from? Jesus says most of our doubts come from a lack of faith. So how do we build our faith so we don't have these doubts? Well, the problem really comes into the fact is that we don't build our faith when the good times are happening. And then we struggle with our faith when the bad times are happening. But there are some doubts because of life, because of circumstances that life has thrown at us, that we have grown to doubt certain things. And why do we do that? It's because we're not open to allowing Jesus to reveal himself to us. So Thomas wasn't like, I don't believe. Thomas wasn't like, I'll see it and believe it. It's not that I don't believe it, but I want to see it. Thomas was open to allowing Jesus to reveal himself. Thomas, yeah, we call him Doubting Thomas, and that word is not allowed to be used in your vocabulary anymore unless you use your name, because we all doubt. Or you could say, I'm a Doubting John, because or a Doubting Peter, because I ran to the grave and I looked in and didn't understand what was going on. John ran to the grave, ran in, and then he believed. So Thomas isn't a Doubting Thomas. Thomas is speaking the truth. I won't believe until Jesus reveals himself to me. Now there comes a time where we have to stop allowing Jesus to reveal himself all the time and start believing. But Jesus doesn't tell Thomas that he was a horrible, immature person. He just says, what are you going to... Greater is a person who believes without seeing than a person who sees, who believes when he sees. And when we allow Jesus to reveal himself to us, and so when we're going through those times of doubt, and we're saying, okay, I doubt it, I'm feeling the guilt now, why am I doubting? There is nothing wrong with going to your knees and saying, Jesus, you need to reveal yourself to me. And it's in those experiences when Jesus reveals himself to you that we experience the resurrection. Because what we do is we turn our doubts not into a theory or a concept, but we turn our doubts into an experience with Jesus. Now you might be sitting there today and say, well, I've gone through a lot of bad things and I really didn't experience Jesus. Okay, what was the last bad thing you went through? Just think about it. You don't have to shout it out. Where are you at now? In church. Are you still alive? Yes. Are you functioning? Yes. Are you doing the responsibilities you're supposed to be doing? Yes. And what that is Jesus has been revealing himself to you, but we haven't seen it. So when we come out the other side of this struggle and this doubt, we look back and we see Jesus revealing himself in his strength and his power in our lives, and then we say, wow, I experienced the resurrection. And we turn our doubt into an experience with Jesus. See, it's not whether we doubt or not. It's what we do with that. Yeah, we can doubt ourselves into not believing anything. That's perfectly fine. I can doubt my, people, when it comes to certain aspects of this world, I doubt their theory so much that they all think that, that I become blinded to what's truth. We all have doubted certain things. I doubt Elvis is still alive, sorry. Some people are saying, oh, no, you gotta believe he's still, by now he probably is old enough to have died. But instead of allowing those doubts to destroy our lives, turn those doubts into an experience by looking to the past and seeing how Jesus has worked in your life to get you to where you are today. He may not have healed it, but he is actively working and worked into your life. If we can take those moments of doubt and turn them into an experience of the resurrection. So, yeah, it's okay to doubt. Face them. Understand them. Ask Jesus to reveal himself to you. I just want to point out that whole point of asking Jesus, Jesus never scolds Thomas for asking him to reveal himself. What does he do? He holds out his hands and he removes his cloak and allows Thomas to touch him. If he was one of us, he would have said, I ain't showing you anything until you believe. He doesn't chastise Thomas for asking him to reveal himself. He just says to Thomas, hey, your faith is stronger when you don't see and believe than when you see and believe. So you might be in a point in your life where, yeah, Pastor, I've gone through the resurrection. I understand all these concepts about Jesus, but I sometimes have doubts. And all I'm asking you today is to just ask Jesus to reveal himself to you. Where you can touch his body, touch his hands, touch his side. And when he does reveal himself to you, acknowledge that and turn your doubt into an experience of Christ. That's what I want us to do this morning. If you want to come to the altar and pray and ask Christ to reveal himself to you, you're more than welcome. You can do it at your pews. But as we sing this song and go into a time of prayer, today it's about Jesus is alive, wanting to reveal himself to you so you can have an experience with the physical Jesus, not just a spiritual.
Above powers, above all kings, above all nature and all created things, above all wisdom and all the ways of man. You were there before the world began. Above all kingdoms, above all thrones, above all wonders the world has ever known, above all wealth and treasures of the earth, there's no way to measure on your worth. Crucified and laid behind a stone, you lived to die, rejected and alone like a rose, trampled on the ground. You took the fall and thought of me above powers, above all kings, above all nature and all created things, above all wisdom and all the ways of man. You were there before the world began. Above all kingdoms, above all thrones, above all wonders the world has ever known, above all wealth and treasures of the earth, there's no way to measure what you're worth. Crucified, laid behind a stone, you lived to die, rejected and alone, like a rose, trampled on the ground. You took the fall and thought of me above all.
Lord, this morning we're not here to ask for forgiveness for our doubts. Because you know, Lord, that it's part of who we are. We're here to ask you to reveal yourself to us. oftentimes, Lord, you understand. In this world, we're constantly told to doubt. Constantly struggling with it. Lord, we know we don't have the faith to just believe. We ask you, Lord, to reveal yourself to us. To show us who you really are. Help us to open up our hearts that we will experience that revealing. So that when you do reveal yourself to us, we then can go and have faith in you, even though we don't see you, even though we don't touch you. Reveal yourself to us this morning, Lord. Reveal yourself in a mighty and powerful way that radically changes us. Thank you, God. Spend a moment in quiet prayer talking to God. Thank you, God, for being here and being with us. We praise you, God. In your name. Let's recite the prayer that Jesus prayed to his disciples. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. We're going to take God's tithes and our offerings to him this morning. And in the reports that we have passed out to you, we do have a detailed budget. The ushers can come forward while I'm talking. We have a very detailed proposal. It's a proposed budget right now because it hasn't been officially passed by the church board. This year we had a fantastic year financially. Doesn't mean that we stopped giving. It just means that we have done a great job. Where last year when we put the budget together, we dropped our budget by quite a bit. This year we actually raised our budget by $2,000 because of the giving. We not only bought 3 air conditioning units, but we've been able to pay all of our bills, and this is the first time in who knows how long that we are. I didn't see that, so I'm not going to make fun of Esther. It's really bad because the congregation's so small. Paul's like, yeah, whatever. But it's really exciting. Also, by the 1st of May, by next Sunday, we will have the year-end report, the final report done of this past fiscal year, where you can ask for a report. You can ask for a report any month, and we will give you an updated financial report, whether you're a member of the church or not. And you can review, the reports are very, very detailed, and it will tell you exactly where our money has come from, and it will tell you exactly where we spent our money. And all you have to do is either on your sheet or a blue card, if they're still in the pews, just write down, end of year report or something, and we will we will make sure that you get one in your hands, okay? As long as I look at them. As long as I look at the sheets. So, and that's one way you communicate to me. You can even call me out, pass me in the hall. Now, if you pass me in the hall and say, I'd like a report, there's no guarantee that you will get one, okay? Vicki was very good about this morning. She didn't yell at me, but she handed me an envelope, and I laid it down, and then she picked it up and put it on my desk. Because she handed it to me while I was doing something, and I still laid it down and walked away and had to pick it back up. She put it on my desk. That's who I am. She accepts who I am. She didn't get mad at me. It's just who I am. So if you want a financial, you can ask for one any month. We'll give you the most recent financial report anytime you ask for them. They're very open. The reason why we don't print any just for you to take is because it's a waste of paper. And I don't like having financial reports sitting there for 2-3 months, old ones. We just have to throw them away. That's the only reason why we ask if you would like one to request it. And you can even go as far as say, I would like one every month. And we will make sure, when I'm printing them out for the board, I'll make sure I have an extra one for you. So let's stand together and let's sing a closing song. Sure, just one.
Your grace is enough, more than I need. At your word I will believe. I wait for you, draw near again. Let your spirit make me new. I will fall at your feet. I will fall at your feet, and I will worship you here. Your presence in me, Jesus, light the way. By the power of your word, I am restored, I am redeemed. By your spirit I am free, and I will fall at your feet. I will fall at your feet, and I will worship you here. You gave it all for us, surrendered your life upon that cross. Great is the love poured out for all. This is our God. Lifted on high from death to life, forever our God is glorified. Servant and King, rescued the world. This is our God.
And may the God of peace, who through the blood of the eternal covenant brought back from the dead our Lord Jesus, that great shepherd of the sheep, equip you with everything good for doing his will, and may he work in us what is pleasing to him through Jesus Christ, to whom be glory forever and ever. Amen.